Here we go. It's episode 13 of the Cobb Pod.
Oh no!
Oh, we're up in the Braemar room for maybe the penultimate pod.
Probably penultimate.
Yeah, we ought to do an end of season.
Yeah.
Roundup.
Are we? Yeah, maybe over
Well,
a glass of sherry, Pete. Something like that.
Well, yeah, okay.
Okay.
I've nearly run out actually because you guys have been.
Must be the end of the season.
It is. So we're up here. We've got young Alex in the corner. How are you, pal?
I'm well, mate. I'm well, mate.
Good.
Happy evening. Happy
Yeah.
evening.
Happy
What word
evening.
is that?
Whatever.
Good evening.
Pete.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Yeah.
And we get a different Pete
Yeah, we have
here.
two Pete's.
It's two Pete's. How are you, Pete Christie? Not Pete Christie. Pete Harrison.
Pete Harrison.
How are you, mate?
While standing in for Matt Lunn.
You're looking very tanned.
Yeah.
I've been away.
Where have you been?
Funny enough, skiing. But Canada.
Lovely. All right. Okay. Thank you.
Awesome. Right,
So Cobham. So Cobham. Well, guys, we've got a lot to come into. I mean, we're just off the back of probably one of the most exciting weekends of grassroots rugby that I can remember, and I wasn't even in the country.
Heart-stopping, mate.
Oh, so much to cover.
Heart-stopping.
So welcome to the Cupboard.
Here we go, it's the Cobb Pod with Mick, Pete, Alex and Lunny. From the minis to the vets, for all your rugby bets. Cobham, home of Surrey's finest, the bar even has a wine list. The Cobb Pod, oi oi oi, the Cobb Pod, holy moly, your home for everything rugby. The Cobb Pod.
Oh yes, here we go. We're back to the Cobb Pod, and we've already got some mystery guests at the door because we're fresh off of training. Should we get them in?
Yeah, how lucky
Right, let's
are
have a
we?
wee look. Smiling ear to ear.
Yeah. Look at those grins, eh?
Gee whiz, boys. We're joined by our director of rugby, Billy D, and the skipper, Chris Lipps.
Hi, gents.
Right. So, for people who weren't glued to their phones or were happened to be stood on the island at Vandos last weekend, break us the news, Billy.
Well, it's an extraordinary weekend, and in sport, you know, there's often matches that people look forward to, or there's a big build-up to, and they don't quite live up to the expectation. But this wasn't one of them, and actually, it mirrored in some ways the game in December when we were playing Vandals, and the two teams were unbeaten going into that game, and the big build-up, and that didn't disappoint either. But this was on another level because it felt like all the chips were down, and you know 1,000 people turned up to it, or something similar. And the sun shone, and I'm properly bleak about not being there because I was away, and I felt like I was the only one. I was the only one not there because I got messages from people during the morning, after the game on the Sunday, saying that they were there or passing on their congratulations, or people from all over the place connected with the gravity of what this team under Lipps's brilliant leadership have achieved. It's been quite stunning.
So, Lipps, what an occasion, what a situation. First, can we just start with the game, and then we'll go into in fact, talk us to the lead up to the game. Maybe did it feel different to games we've played before?
I mean, the nerves were definitely there. I think there was a lot of talk in the week about what we should do, or should we do anything differently in the build-up? Like, should we arrive, together? Should we meet at Cobham first? There was a lot of talk about that, but I think myself and some of the other senior players were kind of like, no, we need to treat this as just another game. We knew what the stakes were, and that's exactly what we did. But yeah, the nerves in the week prior was certainly there. I think my output at work was pretty minimal, I'll be honest. I was Friday night pacing around the house with the TV on. My girlfriend's like, can you just sit down and I'm trying to have a nice Friday. I was like, no, I can't sit down. So the nerves were there, but we did treat it. We had a really good training session on the Wednesday prior. Everyone was completely dialed in, knew what was at stake, and yeah, it was the warm-up same as it's always been. We didn't want to change anything because if it ain't broke, was the view. But yeah, unbelievable day.
Yeah.
And Billy, the lead up to it, anything different in the training, anything different in the selection, anything different to think about, or just another game, get a win, aim for a bonus point, or anything in the setup?
It's really tempting to look at the permutations. You know, all we need to do is score 4 and then it goes to the following week. All we need to do is this, all they need to do is this. And I mean, you couldn't. The script was beautiful because, you know, everyone knew what was on the line in terms of the league, and we didn't really go into that conversation, did we? You know, can we stop them? Can we do this X, Y, and Z? The only change, and this isn't really specifically for this game, but that's come late that I'm most kind of proud of on behalf of the players, is that the players' voice has got stronger as the season's gone on. So, you know, what you feel that you have to do as a coach becomes less so. And as tempting as it is as a coach to, you know, dive in and raise the voice and bang the drum, this was a game where that just was not necessary. The message that I dropped into the coaches is like, if you feel like raising your voice, if you feel like pitching in, don't, because this group have got this, they know it. And I was away, and at the point, maybe 20 minutes to go to the kickoff, you know, I had this, it sounds crazy, but this unbelievable moment of serenity where I didn't know what the result was going to be, but my faith in Lipps and the team that they were going to perform was absolute. And I turned my phone off. I got no updates, got no live stream. And I switched the phone on about 20 minutes after kickoff, when I knew for a fact the first thing I would see in 1,000 messages that I had was what the result was. And I only opened one message, and that was from Tom, who would not normally message me after a game. And I just read his message, said, "Oh, we were good today," or "We were on it," or something like that. And I was like, "Oh my, we must have been so good if the 25-year-old has bothered to message us that." Really good. And it was just, you know, I'm with a bunch of people that are not connected with what we're doing, but they got a sense of it, because I was so, on the one hand, bleak about missing it, but so pleased for the playing group. And I arrived back in the country on the Monday, sat with a cup of coffee and the VO, and watched all of it, all the warm up. You know, I sat and watched them doing, you know, the warm up bits and pieces to get a sense of it. And my kind of admiration for the team and my pride in the team is like triple underlined, because there were moments in that game, and those that were there will understand this, of unbelievable challenge. In a normal game, you're like, well, Vandal score here. They find a way. We're under massive pressure, and we found a nudge. And Lipps won't tell you this, but there's a moment in the game where that was pivotal, where Vandals had driven a line out. I think we robbed it. The touch judge interceded, made up something extraordinary I've never seen before, gave them a penalty. They kicked it again, and I'm like, well, you know, we've spent 5 minutes in the 22 repelling what they've got. It's only a matter of time. That's what it looked like. And they pulled a line-out move, which is like a non-jump move, to their captain, Gully, who's one of the best in the league, I've got to say. Is absolutely outstanding player and young man. And this one next to me reads it and buries him into touch on the turnover. And at that moment, even though I was watching it, knowing the result, I'm like, we could win it, because I was so engaged. You know, you're so excited. And it's those moments when you know the team is performing right at the peak of what they can do. It was stunning.
We went to the lunch. I mean, there were 200 people there. Their president's lunch.
Fantastic.
We had two tables there. And right from the start, you knew it was going to be a great game. They knew it as well. I think they were nervous too, just like our guys were. It's such a big game. Great lunch. Come out, and I don't know, 400, 500 people there, and lots of people from Cobham turned up. Lots of people I haven't seen for ages. Johnny Branson, Reedy, Andy Harburn, former club skippers were turning up to watch this game because they got it. They understood it was such an important game for us, and not just about tackle. Chris, I think you had a message for him as well, and you pushed him into touch. We won't
I won't repeat it. Yeah,
but the defence, it was just awesome. Whole game long, everybody putting their tackles in, and it was quite something to watch. And that's without talking about the attacking rugby, the tries we scored. I mean, Colin Delapina just
pick and go.
Completely ghosted through their defence. I don't think they laid a hand on him.
no, I think he sold them and all of us because I don't think any of us were anywhere near him. So thankfully he scored it.
Pointed the kids in touch, and then tapped it like that through about 3 or 4 of them. I mean, it was gorgeous to watch. Great game, but heart-stopping stuff. Oh my word! I mean, 14 all at half time.
Yeah,
And we scored just before the whistle. 14-7 down at that point, and that was a really important score, I think, Chris.
100%. Yeah, I think because it was try for try. Either way, it was no one ever kind of went up more than a try's worth in the game. So it was an important time to get one, and then 14-0 at half time, and then I think it stayed at 21-all for the bulk of the second half. So it was touch and go at times. It was there was a lot of. There were some big swing moments, and that moment, of course. But people like Davo carrying Finn Saville had an absolute stormer, and just small little moments that just picked you up every time you were kind of doubting things. It couldn't have asked for a better day, really.
Yeah, I saw the note come through on the phone to say Finn had been awarded man of the match. I was really, really, really pleased for him. And then I watched the game and I'm like, holy, what? He pulled an unbelievable game. When I was just giving him a hug downstairs, and he's like, "Oh, and I was really up for it." I'm like, "Wow!" It's one thing to be, motivated and right on it from a kind of emotional standpoint, but having the techers to back it up. I mean, he was extraordinary. We must give while there's an audience, we must give a shout to Vandals, because as much as that game was a big game and the league and the champions and all that stuff, every game with them has been fantastic, and that's for one reason, is because they are a very, very, very good team and a great club. I saw a message from their president after the game.
Yeah.
I got a note from their director of rugby. I got a note from their coach, all personal stuff, saying congratulations and what a game it was, and etc. So as much as we celebrate amazing defence and amazing individual tackles and all the rest, that doesn't happen unless there's a significant challenge, which there was from them.
Yeah, indeed.
Okay, so that's 19 games. 19 games?
Yeah,
I remember
18,
got that
19.
right. Won the league. So promoted? Yeah. And 2 teams are promoted?
Yeah.
Or is it a playoff?
Vandals will come up with us as well.
So Vandals Cobham promoted.
And it's worth that their players weren't aware of that until after the game. I believe their coaching staff had chosen not to tell them that was the case.
Wow.
Which gave it some even more needle into the game, and I was like, it made it even more. And the way they took the defeat was so gracious. Not knowing that at the time it was impressive.
And the shield as well, which
popped
out of the blue on the day.
Yeah.
Surrey RFU said, "Oh, by the way, you're playing for the Surrey Shield as well."
Yeah, we were completely unaware of that.
Yeah,
So.
I know.
But it played into the story of the weekend, where we thought the second team would be champions of their league, and we're just waiting for official confirmation. But the confirmation that our second team were champions of their league came at the same time, give or take, within a day or two of us being crowned first team champions and Surrey Shield champions. So let's roll it in like triple champions at the same time that the under-18s are, they're playing Sunday and Tuesday in national finals. They both won their semi-finals, both tight games. And really an extraordinary weekend.
I've just remembered something from it. You're talking about the prep and the kind of, we didn't go into too much detail about, are we going for a bonus point here? But Bondi did ask me in the car trip on the way there, he goes, Lipps, if we've scored 4 and we're losing but within 7 on our own 5, do we kick it out? And I was like, why have you asked me that? Because I have not got a clue what we do in that scenario. So let's make sure that doesn't happen.
I think about these things all the time. And there's a really good article that I found on LinkedIn which talks about, it was a business article, but it specifically talked about rugby captaincy. And it talked about the number of tactical and strategic decisions that rugby captains make over the course of the season, in particular to take a game, is more than you'll make in business in a month, right? Believe that or not, whatever. But was there one moment in the game, Lipps, where you had to make a particular decision where you just found yourself alone on the pitch?
So whether to talk to the referee again or not?
I think so. Should I say that? No, maybe I shouldn't say that.
Did you two get quite close during the game?
A couple of times, yeah, and the assistants. But anyway, do you know what? I think weirdly enough, in this game, there wasn't so much of that. I mean, I think we've gone for posts about 5 times across the season, so my mind's usually pretty made up about how we want to play. So there was no doubt in my mind that, you know, with the 4 tries, needing the 4 tries for the bonus point, it was always going to be go for corner or take a scrum. So I think we went for corner every time. So, and, you know, actually the moment that Connor took it upon himself for that first try, that was, you know, other players taking on that decision to play and make those calls. So actually, thankfully, there wasn't a huge amount of definitely game management from my side, but there wasn't a huge amount of big decisions because we know we needed to get points on the score sheet. So that was the view.
It was interesting. I was standing next to Tony Bortwell. We got a penalty fairly square onto the posts. And he's, take the 3. We're old school, you know. It's just like a cup game, take the 3. And then you got the 7 just before half time, so he had to shut up. Just brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
And then last game.
Yeah, Old Cats.
Coming up. Old
yeah.
Cats. Looking forward to it. Decision.
Yeah, very much so. And there's there's not a worry, but you think, okay, well, it's all done. So what's the motivation? But there's, having just come off training now, there's no question about the team wanting to sign it off in the right way. And this idea of going unbeaten is not everyone's main driver. It sits there, but it's not the main thing that we might talk about. If I think about this group, the desire to sign it off in the right way and going into our end of season celebration is just as strong as going unbeaten, which we haven't done for 19 years or something. So it is. Do I believe that we are going to be on it and do it? Yeah, I do. I really do. And we've got a changed team, but a young team. We might have 6 or 7 under 21s playing.
Nice.
And I look at going into being a championship winning squad, playing 6 or 7 under 21s in the first team, and then seeing 50 under 18s about to compete in national finals. There's so much. There's always potential, but right now it feels like a sweet spot that we can't let go.
There was definitely a little niggle for me Sunday morning. Like, obviously ecstatic with the day and the result. There was just something I was like, and I think it is that it's the aim to go unbeaten. It's just the job isn't finished yet, and we need to keep that mindset until 5 o'clock on Saturday.
Fantastic.
Unreal. Can't wait.
Yeah.
What about, quickly, guys, and I'll let you both go. So not only have the ones won the league unbeaten, but the twos have followed up as well. Confirmed on actually at the weekend. Just a wee word from you, Billy, about the twos and what they've managed to do.
Yeah, and that I've just said had a couple of minutes after training with the squad, and it's not news to them, but trying to open people's kind of minds to the opportunity to take pride in themselves. because we have, I think the current stats is 50 players have represented the first team. That's most of the second team, obviously, the nature of things. So everyone must take pride in the fact that there's a Champions Instagram, and we'll have a photo with a Champions banner on Saturday and all the rest. And I've just caught one of the young Jack, one of the under-18s. He played one game for us, and he's about to go into this big final on the Stoop on Tuesday. And I put my arm around him and I said, well, you've played one game for us, so you're one of the 50, and so you're already a champion. It's already done. You know, you're part of that. But also with the second team is whether you play the first team or not, every time you've played for a senior team here, every time you've come training, you've played a part in the story that we've just celebrated. So I want to thank Matt and Gus, who have led the coaching. I've got to give Gabe Clark a shout out, because the team has been led by others, but he's transitioned so well, and he has my absolute admiration to transition from a place of chasing a space in the first team, which he was very, very ambitious to do, and he's very capable in lots of ways of doing that. And the games he played for the first team, he's there with good credit. But he's in a space where the captain plays in his position. It's tough. And to take on the opportunity to lead the second team, he has not looked backwards. He's grabbed it and just rolled with it. And he leads in, we all lead in different ways, leads in a very different way to Lipps. But the guys around him, the youngsters, have just connected with that in a big way. So as much as we celebrate what Lipps has done with the first team, we've got to celebrate what Gabe's contribution is to the second team. It's really, really strong.
Here.
Well said.
Great bunch. Well, guys, listen, we'll let you go. That has been... Thanks for putting us through the mill on Saturday. Checking texts.
I think we're done. That's the whole pod done.
Oh.
Yeah, bravo.
Thank you very much.
Huge congratulations. Well done.
We're at one to go, huh? We'll see you on
One
Saturday.
to go.
Yeah.
One to go. Thanks, guys.
So
Thanks very much.
kick-off on Saturday is 3 p.m.
3 p.m.
at home.
Yep.
Still hoping to have a twos game out as well. So it should be fairly lively. And I think there is also barbecue and something afterwards.
And not to mention the old Surbiton's former players' lunch with about 120, 125 people.
Right. So basically,
Busy day.
This is the final game of the season. Get yourself down here, 3 p.m. on Saturday. Bring the family. Just come and have a wander around. Stay for 10 minutes. Stay for half an hour. Stay for 5 hours. Get yourself down here.
Deal.
Forecast looks excellent, to be fair.
Oh, brilliant.
Excellent.
We alluded to why we invited Mr. Pete Harris.
Yeah. Yeah. In
So-
fact, Billy mentioned it, right? So here we go. Pete,
Indeed.
talk us through the...
I think it was too
What a
emotional.
weekend.
I think it was too emotional for Matt, which is why he asked for someone to stand in. If I'm honest. No, what can we say? Just extremely proud of the boys, to be honest with you.
So just for
So
everyone
the-
listening, tell us like what happened and where we are.
Yeah, so I guess the weekend just gone. Both teams. So we generally play as one big squad. We've got 68 boys on Spond, if you like. We had a record tonight, actually, for the year group, which was 51 boys turning up for training.
Fantastic.
Possibly helped out by a little bit of assistance from Marcus and from Danny Ward as well, who came in, two guest coaches.
Yeah.
But actually, the semi-finals, it's been a massive lull at the Colts age, because they're getting bigger, because the collisions are much more. You really have to balance the rugby they're playing at school and in other competitions, and obviously there's a lot of A-level pressure and predicted grade exams coming up and things like that, and you've got to do the right things for the boys. So to see that many lads turning up wanting to play for Cobham is pretty cool. Out of that lot, I think there's 15 still that started in the under-5s with the little sponge balls.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Probably the same sponge balls as the reason.
they are.
Yeah, I don't think they've changed over the years. They're a hand-me-down,
The ones
aren't they?
that vaguely chewed by that one kid that won't stop eating the sponge bowl. You know them.
Pete, there were 2 games.
Yes.
I came down and watched, and the Bees played first of all, I think.
Correct.
Who were they playing?
They were playing Guildford. So,
what was the score?
So local rivals. Score for the Bees was 37-15, which was great. Very tight first half.
It was tight, wasn't it? Yeah.
Very tight first half. I'd say a bit nervy, and actually fair play. Couple of mature decisions, I'd say, from our 15 at the time. Couple of penalties, but we didn't know there were going to be 2 penalties. But the first penalty from the 50-yard line or 50-metre line, he decided I'm going to have a pop at that, and we thought, let's take the 3 points. He backed himself, got it.
Wow.
We were awarded a penalty in pretty much the same place. About 3 minutes later, up he comes again, slots it again, and I think
Tony Ball
you've got
be
to
very
name
happy
him.
about
Well,
this.
come on.
Yeah.
Who's this? Who's it?
it's Harry Thornycroft. Fair play to him. Grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck. I think that was a pivotal moment.
Oh, well done, Harry.
Boys bought into that, and they turned it around for that second half, which is where we ran away.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Over
I
the
love
Awesome.
over the
Fine.
moon. So
Yeah.
they now will be playing on Sunday in a final at Esher, or being hosted at Esher.
What time's the kick-off, Pete?
It is a 3:30 kickoff, and that is against Roslyn Park Bees, which is interesting for our year group because it's the first ever festival we had was against Roslyn Park.
Great.
Be a nice way to tie off,
Yeah.
basically
Nice.
for this year.
And second up on Sunday, the A's,
Yes, indeed.
and they were playing against.
So they were playing Old Reigation A's. So we played them in the round robins earlier on in the season. Well, in the cup, I should say. And again, a tight affair. We managed to get a bonus point. And managed to keep them out earlier on in the season. Actually, different team turned up, different conditions. Again, a little bit nervy. Not everything went our way, but fair play to the lads. They stuck at it, and they came out winning 19-18.
Yeah. I mean,
Real nail biter. I mean, none of the
Reigate-
parents or coaches are going to thank them, but yeah, fair play to the lads. Well done.
Reigate I thought looked really good in the first half.
Yeah.
So it's a good turnaround second half.
No, definitely, and these things happen in the game. They come in swathes, don't they? Where one team's in control, and then we sort of lose it, and the other team sort of takes over, if you like.
So the A's, that was top tier Quinn's Cup, whatever it's called.
That was, yes,
Right. So semi-final, final is,
on Tuesday evening,
and it's where?
and it's at the Stoop.
It's at the Stoop. Right. So I've been involved with some of the girls' Surrey games, and I'll be honest, when I've been there and watched them, the support for the clubs makes such a massive difference.
Yeah.
So from a pod, I think our shout out is Tuesday evening at the Stoop. Your Colts need you to be down there.
It would be great.
They need you in the crowd. It's free entry. It's free parking. Just get down there and make sure you're on the side of the pitch in Cobham colours, just shouting and screaming. Let's get that.
It would make a massive difference. So the boys will be warming up at 6 o'clock. The kick-off is at 7 p.m.
So basically, straight out of work, when you get to Waterloo,
Yeah.
leave Waterloo, go to Twickenham instead, wander down to the Stoop, the bar's open there, sit in the crowd, have a shout.
And have a shout.
I'm
Support,
putting it in my
support
diary
the
now.
lads.
I'm not messing up.
Just remind me the date, sorry, so I can type it in here.
It's Tuesday the 28th.
So that's 6 days.
Yeah,
You've got
and
time
that's,
to put a
and that's
meeting in the
against-
diary at home.
And that's against our old foes, Dorking.
Dorking.
Dorking. So good they named them
Brilliant.
twice.
I know worked really well. I've got to get that in the diary. It's, sat in front of a computer. I'm going to book that in now.
Cool.
Excellent.
I mean, that's the details about the match. Lonnie asked me to just cover a little bit about the Colts themselves.
Oh, please.
If
I'd
that
love,
was o- if that was
love
okay.
to hear it, mate.
It won't be the same.
Yeah, love to
It
hear
won't
it.
be the same as Nishi's coverage of obviously the Monaco trip, which I've got to say was truly inspiring.
Oh, it was amazing.
That
But
was
he
an amazing
spent
episode.
4 weeks prepping for it, so you've You're just riffing off this off the top of your head.
Considerable notage, to be honest with you. But I was going to say, I mean, Billy mentioned it earlier about the club and the feel at the moment, and I think you sort of breed off the success of obviously the seniors, and that sort of flows down. Having great results across all the year groups. But I'd say also the one cob thing is really coming through at the moment. And actually, I wanted to start by saying thank you ever so much for the support that the Colts have had from the rest of the club, because training space with an average of 45 plus boys for the last 8 weeks. Actually, Billy and the seniors, obviously the vets as well.
Sometimes
obviously a bit of a sometimes, but a little bit of imposition, if you like, in terms of their own touch rugby time on a Wednesday, but obviously also the girls as well, who have allowed us to use the AGP more often than maybe we would do on a circular schedule. So it's massively appreciated, basically. I just wanted to say, out of the 68 boys, I had a couple of stats, just because. It's of interest to some people.
Alex, this guy loves a stat. He's
I
called
do love a
He's
stat.
called Stato on our WhatsApp.
We
group.
wouldn't. I mean, it's fair to say that out of those 68 boys, basically, 93% have basically contributed to the success so far of the Colts season. So that's pre-Christmas and post-Christmas, and it's quite an important thing to say that we've got 2 teams after Christmas, but 1 pre. We wouldn't be playing in Tier 1 if it wasn't down to the results of the team that played pre-Christmas. Which
I remember us talking about that. Lonnie was saying the difficulties of making sure you've got the right team in the pre-Christmas because of the conflict of it's conflict of school rugby, is it?
That's right. Yeah. So term 1 is generally a lot of private school Saturday rugby, which means certainly at that age you don't play them twice in a weekend. It's just it's ludicrous.
Certainly when you're at the vet's age, you want to play twice in a weekend.
Yeah, twice, 3 times, something like that. Yeah.
But we're okay then, so we're sort of near the end of near the end of our careers. They're starting out. But I'd just say, I guess there's an average of 21 boys per match that we managed to get out for those games pre-Christmas, and actually 9 pre-Christmas games. So pretty successful season, I've got to say, across all of the squads all of the teams that we've put out there. You can tell I'm just checking my notes now, can't you? But anyway, I'll tell you what it has done. It's increased the competitive edge of the boys, the buy-in, again, something that Billy alluded to earlier. But in terms of the increased investment and the increased noise that you get back in terms of the huddles and the feedback, that obviously we're led by Harry. But when he asked the question, it would have been silence at the start of the season. You've got to remember, these are 2 year groups you throw together and say, right, go and play together. It's not like the previous years where you've been going as the same year group plus a couple of additions. So I guess the dynamics change, as it were, but they have really bought into each other. And as I say, you can see that in terms of the performances that they've then brought out on the pitches. It's been great. The interesting one I wanted to say as well was, because again, you get, how would I say, certain interested parties, let's say some of the parents, for example, but they'll do their own sort of stato piece as well. So there's just a couple of things I wanted to put out there for them, to them also. It's just that actually around our, I guess, the one squad mentality that we've played, and what I mean by that is that we don't have the A's train over there and the B's train over here. They all train together, so they benefit from the same patterns, styles, and the style of rugby that we want to play.
Same calls as well, Pete? They use the kind of same calls?
Same
and
calls.
Stuff? Yeah,
It's basically so that someone gets injured, you can just throw someone in straight away. It's an age now where you don't want them to just be one position either, so we try and allow them to play at least a couple. But actually around that, we had about 41 boys in total that played pre-Christmas out of the 68 on the books. We had 63 that have played out of that 68 and contributed after Christmas, basically.
That's brilliant.
Across the teams, which is pretty amazing. Out of that, although it's generally a 21-person squad, we've used 39 of the boys in the A's as well post Christmas, which is
Oh, nice. Okay.
which is pretty cool. So there's a lot of movement, a lot of competition.
Yeah.
Hopefully they've enjoyed it. I think that was sort of about it for me, to be honest with you guys. But hopefully I've done what Matt asked.
So if you've got time on Sunday and you want to get down to Esher, 3:30 kickoff, just look for the Cobham shirts. And then Tuesday, I mean, we just have an obligation to be there. So
Yeah.
They're both local, and the support would be hugely welcomed. It'll mean an awful lot to the boys. It'd be awesome.
Right.
yeah, on that, do my best.
Thank you for the
Amazing,
slot,
Pete.
guys.
What a again, what a journey it's been for the
Yeah.
Colts. I think it's just super impressive. Every Sunday you get all the results come through from all the coaches and this in the Cobham youth chat and Harry goes, here we got another big win, another scalp. I think it's been a unbelievable year.
Yeah, that's great.
Hasn't it?
And loads of people contribute to it, right? So it's the coaches, it's the first aiders, it's the fixtures people, it's the physios downstairs, and it's the parents, really.
Of course.
Well, less so for the Colts
Great
because half of
achievement.
them drive. But
Great achievement.
it's awesome.
Brilliant. Thanks, Pete. Ali, do you want to go do the under 15s?
Yeah, so it has been. I mean, I know it's the pointy end of the season, but it has been proper busy, and the under 15s were out on at the weekend on Sunday, and so some really good news coming in, and we've got a couple of clips which we'll play, and then we'll come back and have a quick chat. Let's give this a go.
Afternoon all, Smallsy here again with our A-team, winners of the third place playoff against the Chobham 18-15. I'm here with our superstar fly half, Sam Terry, Hugo Edwards and Francois Lau. Sam, where do you think the game was won?
I think the game was won just through the middle, like with the pods, just hammering through the defensive line. It was just getting yards.
Excellent. And Hugo, match-winning kicker, how did you feel kicking those last two penalties?
Second one was a bit shaky. Managed to hit the post, but managed to get two of them, but this one from the corner. So.
Very good, and they all count. And Francois, your reflections on the season, if you will.
It's been great at times. I guess it's been a little bit upsetting when the match is off being. We didn't really show up today, but we still came away with the win. But overall, the season was fun, and there's still a lot of work to be done.
Brilliant. And we'll see you boys for pre-season, obviously.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well done, boys. You've had an absolutely fantastic season. Really proud of you. Well done.
Right, so if you didn't quite get that, then Smallsy, who is our correspondent from the pod, he's appeared throughout the whole season, but still hasn't discovered that if he stands near a massive crowd of people, we can't hear a bloody
Listen,
thing.
he'll get that. He's an
Right, so
intelligent
anyway,
guy. He'll get it.
So if you didn't quite get it, that was the under-15Bs, and they finished fifth in Tier 4, but they won their finals day game, 28-17 against Sutton and Epsom.
Good work.
Hopefully the next one I click on is going to be the under-15 A's boys, who finished third in Tier 1. You remember they had that game with that one. But they also won 18-15 over Chobham. Now, if I get this right, we'll be talking to a couple of the players.
Afternoon all, Smallsy here, reporting live and direct from Esher Rugby Club with our mighty B team who won their final today. I'm here with...
So this is the B team again, isn't it?
We've heard from the A-team.
Hello everyone, Smallsy here again with a Portugal Lisbon tour special.
So I've got two from the B team.
Yes.
And one from the Portugal tour, which we're going to do in a minute. So, I put money on this being Alex's error, not Owen's. But I'm going to call it Owen's error.
I think
right
the first
now.
recording was the A's.
I think the
Oh,
first
was it?
recording was the A's.
Hugo's in the A's.
Yeah.
Francois in the A's.
And he
It
said you scored 2 penalties and the score was 18-15.
was 18-15 against
Yeah.
Chobham.
Right.
So I think we're all looking at you, Ali.
Tick, tick, tick.
Look, I'll be honest, I couldn't hear a thing. So, the irony is not lost on me at this point. I knew they were saying something.
Do that under 15Bs, which was the second one you did.
This-
And let's
yeah,
have a
we-
listen to
we've
that.
got- I think
Because
we've got
Smallsy
that.
sounds like
There
he's
we
just
go.
come in for a night out.
Afternoon all, Smallsy here, reporting live and direct from Easter Rugby Club with our mighty B team who won their final today. I'm here with Lucas Blackwell, Thomas Mattison. Lucas, where do you think the game was won today?
I think it was one in the fours during the game because, I mean, we came out really strong. We had some good carries, good rucking. I think overall that's where we won it.
Very nice. And Thomas, your reflections on the season for the B team?
As a whole, the season's been quite well. Just need a bit more in the tackling and just the running in general. Just get the boys with the ball more running forward.
Okay. All coming back next season?
Oh yeah, can't wait.
Yeah.
Under 16s we're having first.
Excellent. Well done today, boys. Great season. And we'll see you in the summer for pre-season. All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, that was the B team. I got it that time.
You did?
And he didn't move where he actually asked them to interview, did he? He was right next to that big crowd again.
Yeah, but he actually brought in a separate dog.
Yeah. Oh,
Just to bark on the recording.
Let's not be disparaging. I think Smallsy, when you're listening, you will be next year our under 16s correspondent.
Of course you will.
And you must record every one of those, every single game. No one else is allowed to do it.
And I've got to say, from watching his contribution on the Lisbon tour, which we'll talk about in a minute, he was given. We went to go and watch the under 15s play, and Smallsy ran the tee on very well, and was given lots of advice from the sideline
Extremely important.
to do it faster, slower, better.
So let's just recap that because I really messed it up. So the under 15As finished third in Tier 1 with an 18-15 victory over Chobham. Well done, lads. The under 15Bs boys finished fifth in Tier 4 with a 28-17 victory over Sutton Epsom. Well done, everybody. Well done.
Excellent.
good work.
How about next? Should we talk about? I've got vets fundraising written here.
Well, so it feels like the season is getting towards the end. But we end on a high. The vets are off. Obviously, been invited back to Twickenham,
We have.
but they kind of need to stump up a bit of cash.
Yeah, like every year, as far as I've known for the past few years, we've always chosen a charity to donate to as part of the tour. We've always done something like Little Rock School in Kenya, which was unbelievable. We did Arbuthnot High School in Jamaica and a couple others. But this year we're just going to focus on the Injured Players Foundation because we were invited back after some emails were sent. And we've been invited back to Twickenham to play on the 30th of May. So we're going to run a couple of events. I think the first event we're going to do is 16th of May touch tourney day. You know, they don't raise a great deal of money, so I think we might be a wee bit inventive with what we do. I am considering whether or not to do a 24-hour Bronco. Don't think it's ever been done before. Which means this is a Bronco. Well, I'm not doing it. I'll do some of it.
It won't be done again.
But there'll be a 24-hour. Do you know what a Bronco is, Pete?
No.
So you start on the try line, run to 22, back 10, back half, back 10, back 22, back full length, back.
No, I don't.
You do it.
I don't want to know
4
anymore.
or 5 times. Five times.
Yeah.
Bronco.
So we might do it. We might look at doing that. I asked the question. I got some emojis back, 2 of which were helpful, 5 of them weren't. But I think we owe it to the Injured Players Foundation to raise quite a lot of money. So we've all got targets, individual targets, but we're going to run hopefully some events.
Can people make a donation, mate?
100%. Yeah.
Okay, so there's a link.
There is a link. We'll stick it out in socials, I think. Ali, looking at you.
Yeah.
And for people to make donations, because there are the team that have been selected this year to go to Twickenham are being selected based on their contribution for the year. And I just think it's a really worthwhile charity, given that some of the people playing on Thursday, it's probably their last game of rugby. So we've got that to plan for. I can't wait.
Planned or not?
You're looking at me then.
Planned. No, I'm not looking. No, need you for a couple more years, please, Pete. So that's what the vets have got planned, as well as heading on tour next week to Tampa.
Right. So there's quite a few other things that we want to talk about. One thing, we've got some details, which, Pete, I'm going to hand over to you in a second, but I'll just do a quick intro. In the girls section, we have a player in the under-16 team called Alicia. She's been with us for a couple of years. And we had a message from her dad a little while ago saying, I think it was along the lines of, Alicia might not be at training tonight. We had, she experienced an incident and she had to step in, and he told us about it. And it is truly amazing. Now, someone's done a much better write-up than I can do on the basis of my repeating it here. So, Pete, you've got it in front of you.
I have got it in front of me. It's actually on the website if you're interested in reading all of it. But, Alicia Target, she's a forward for the Cobham under-16 girls. She was recently recognised with a special bravery award at the Surrey Air Cadets annual awards night. This acknowledged not only Alicia's courage and quick thinking, but also credited the strength, discipline and instinct she's developed through her rugby training at Cobham.
Nice.
So, Corporal Target of 1034 Surbiton and Isha Squadron, known to her teammates simply as Alicia, obviously, or number 3. So,
there we go.
An indication of where she plays rugby. She demonstrated extraordinary composure in a life-threatening situation late last year, which I'll just describe now. So, while travelling home from school in the run-up to Christmas, Alicia was changing trains at Weybridge Station. She noticed a woman on the platform who appeared to be distressed. Although smartly dressed, the woman was talking to herself and behaving unusually. As a fast train approached, the woman moved towards the edge of the platform, attempting to jump onto the tracks. Without hesitation, Alicia reacted. She sprinted forward, physically blocked the woman, using what the RAF Awards compare later described as the strength and instinct she's developed as a forward at Cobham Rugby Club. Alicia held her back until another member of the public stepped in to assist. And with no railway staff there, Alicia then ran upstairs to alert the authorities and to make sure that help was on the way. She was obviously shaken, not only by what had happened, but the fact that other people had just kind of stood there and done nothing. So in recognising her actions, the award citation stated, "In that moment, Alicia showed remarkable bravery, courage and acted without hesitation to protect a stranger's life." The RAF representatives said, "We are incredibly proud of what Corporal Alicia Target has done. One of Surrey Wing's finest." How about that?
Wow.
Just the best thing I've heard in weeks and weeks and weeks.
Just incredible.
More good people on this planet, please.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well done, Alicia.
Brilliant.
That is fantastic. Mega proud.
So the other thing,
Yeah.
just as we change the tone slightly, end of season, tours happen. Now, looking opposite me, Mick, you've already been on a tour.
We have.
And you were on a dual age group tour.
Yeah.
Where did you go?
Under 13s, under 15s tour to the Portugal Youth Festival in Lisbon.
And how did we get on? How was it?
Just brilliant. Different kettle of fish. You know, it's 3,500 kids at this thing. It's pretty mega. All on artificial pitches, 10 aside in the under 13s, and then up to 15s from 15s onwards. Mixture of boys and girls teams. It was actually very tough. The quality of rugby, different, real, sleek, speedy strength. You know, this was not a game for front rowers. but it was brilliant. Like I was, there was a moment. So again, we had 2 teams out, and to lose our first 2 games convincingly, lose them against the 2 teams who ended up playing in the final against each other, streamed. One from Cascais, so just down from Lisbon, and another one was a really tough start. But our wee team, last game, we've been beaten pretty comprehensively. We came close, maybe one of the games, but to play the way that we did at the start of the season, our heads would have been down. The boys wouldn't have reacted, but we just ground it out. I'll never forget, I always stand at the back. I took a lesson from Harry Green. I always stand at the back and watch and make little notes and stuff. And to see Freddie Smith, one of our props, smash over the line and score, and the whole stadium, the under-15s and the parents came and watched us as well. And we reciprocated, and then to have the whole stadium singing "God Bum" when we walked off after winning the last game was that was ridiculous. I was so proud of the boys, so proud. And I think Smalley's going to talk about the under-15s who were absolutely fabulous, but being able to go and watch them as well and support them in I think pretty much all of their games, including their final, what an event. Recommended for the next year groups who will jump into those slots. Wonderful. Kids had a blast.
Sounds fantastic.
Some of the parents had a blast.
Yeah.
Shall we?
Sure they did.
Shall we hear what Smallsy and his dog has to say?
Let's hear his voice first of all.
Shall I take it off mute?
Yeah, why not?
Hello everyone, Smallsy here again.
Oh, there's a croak.
Portugal Lisbon Tour special. I'm here with Elliot and Francois. Elliot, let's talk about the rugby first on tour. How do you feel that went and your reflections?
The first day we went pretty good. Didn't concede once. But came first, I think, at the end of the day. We had some very hard teams, but we did very well. Played very good sides. Second day, bit tougher sides. Wasn't the result we got at the end, but
yeah, I mean it was a good final, and you boys did so well to get there. Francois, how did you feel about the tour overall? What was your favourite parts?
It was definitely one of the most enjoyed time I had playing rugby. The bond that the boys made from all different schools, just how much fun we had, and the bond that we made in that tour is quite incredible. It's like being part of like another family.
Excellent, that's what rugby is all about. Do we want to go back to Portugal and go and win it?
100%.
Excellent. Boys, you've had a great season. Congratulations. Well done.
Where was the dog?
Yeah, I know. It was
Didn't have his own passport,
He'd
mate.
been scared away by the group of men that then walked behind Swansea. Thanks, Swansea. Really good to hear about tour. We've the girls section just been on tour.
How was your tour?
Oh, tour was great fun. So what we do with the girls, we take all of the girls' teams together away on tour. So what we took the whole of a youth hostel in Swanage, wasn't quite Lisbon, and we filled it up with all of the Cobham and our cluster partners, Chobham players, and then realised we didn't have enough beds, so we had to take the hotel next door, which we then filled up. We realised we didn't have enough beds, so we had to take all the rooms.
Preparation.
We had to take all the rooms in a pub. Then we had to take an Airbnb. It was properly packed, it was excellent fun. And it's good because the girls section is it's 2 age groups together, a bit like you were talking about the Colts earlier, Pete, where you're trying to merge 2 age groups. And with the girls, that's the same every year.
Yeah.
So you've got you've got half a fresh team every season. So if you can find a way for so-and-so to know so-and-so, because they're going to play with them again in 2 years, and you just got to build up and make sure that people know who's around the club. So that worked really well. And we played at Oak Medians in Bournemouth on Sunday, and a win by all of the 3 teams we had: under 12s, under 14s, under 16s.
Well done.
Right. Yeah, so it was good. I think under 12s was by a lot. Under 14s, 14 points to 10, and under 16s by a few, but cracking games. Really, really good games on a solid sun-dried ground.
Cobham's UA.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. Another successful tour. Well done, Ali. Because I know you're doing a lot of organising around that. Well played, pal. Can I talk about something the under 12s have done quickly? I know it's on the notes, but I'd like to, because I've received a message from a Mr. Dan Eads, who's one of the parents and then under 12s, because what they have done as a year group, in particular activating the parents who've jumped in and helped organise, a raft of things. The parents have organised the tour, not the coaches. The parents have organised the fundraising for the tour. And I'm talking thousands of pounds that they've raised so that as many people can go on tour as possible, which is good. But I want to read, I'll read this out. And then if you want, I'll send you the website address that you can go to. They've got a website for the tour with all the rules. It's absolutely fantastic. Really good. So here we go. Under 12s. So to raise a bit of money, you will know that you may have seen it in the club on a Sunday walking past. You might have had a bit of a sweet tooth and bought a cake. That was from under 12s. And they did a 24-hour fun run.
I saw the floodlit.
Yeah.
Did you?
Oh, good pitch. Yeah.
So that was on Saturday just gone.
Amazing.
So a 1 kilometre loop around the whole ground. It's great. And the idea came from one of the players, Sam Hopley. Yes, Sam, it's your fault.
Yeah.
But it is a fantastic initiative that brought everyone together for a great cause. So, to the tour lead, Dan Eads and Alan Hopley and Ros Rule, who were all there throughout the full 24 hours and helping to organise and support the end, a massive thank you from everyone. And thank you to everyone who took part and donated. And they've raised over $2,000 with an incredible record of 17 laps created on the course.
Braemar have actually chipped in a few.
Have
quid.
you? Oh,
Yeah,
well done,
for that
Pete.
tour.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Love to hear it. And a special mention to Alan Ross for organising the baking fundraiser. I spent a bit of tenner on there one Sunday, so completely my fault. And thanks to the bakers, the sellers, and everyone else who bought cakes, that was me, and supported the effort. And thanks to the success of the fundraiser and the fun run and the generosity of our sponsors and the Braemar boys, we've been able to meet our 2 targets and make it possible to offer a tour opportunity to everyone
That's
who
brilliant.
wanted to
I
go.
really like that.
Isn't it good?
That's fabulous.
Right,
That's
and it's got a lot of us thinking about actually, and the Vets tour next year, something a bit close to home. So well played, and I'm going to quickly as we go on to this weekend, those notes, I will quickly go to Dan's message and read you out the website because you've got to have a look at it. It's crfc-devon-2026.com, and it's brilliant. And it says here we've raised £13,000 since we wrote that message for the tour, so that everyone can go. That's grassroots rugby. Isn't it good?
That's fabulous.
Fantastic.
I
Well
love
done.
that. I love that.
Well done, the gang. All right, so Pete, this weekend coming up. So we've got the Braemars, the All Stars AGM, and the Old Subbretonian Farmers Players Lunch.
Yeah, that'll be well attended. Looking forward to that.
You driving, or you get a taxi?
I should drive here.
Okay,
and crawl home.
Understood. We've also got the 1's game. 2's game may or may not go ahead.
Wasn't
not sure.
Confirmed earlier. I think for those vets that are listening to this on the way to work, I think Melts is potentially looking for a couple of names on the team sheet as well.
I'll talk to you about that once this pod's finished. Girls Finals Day.
Yeah, so Girls Finals Day this Sunday. So for the under 12s, under 14s, under 16s, under 18s, we're all being hosted by Wimbledon. So go down there. For the under 14s, we are playing the Roslyn Park Ironsides Cluster for the 3rd time this season.
Got it.
And we should have won the first one, The second one we lost in a proper physical battle. So yeah, third time lucky.
Yeah.
We've got to step up. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Good luck, brilliant. Good luck. We've talked about the Colts.
Yeah.
Which is at the Stoop and at Esher.
Yep.
Unreal. I've talked briefly about the 16th of May, which is the Touch Tourney fundraising day, which would be good. Barbecues and all sorts. And then on the 22nd of May, if you're a volunteer at this club, if you're a coach, if you're a manager, if you're a first aider, pop along on 22nd of May for a free sherry. It's open to all, but you can get yourself a wee free drink as a thanks. And we'll see you there.
I just want to mention Run More with Ranmore, if I can.
Sorry, Pete, you're right. I beg your pardon.
My mate Pat Burton is organising this again, and this is where
What, friend of the pod, Pat Burton? Friend of the pod? Yeah, he was on the pod.
Yeah, I forgot he'd been on, didn't he?
Yeah.
So he's organising again what we did last year, which is collecting boots and trainers to go to South Africa to underprivileged kids so they can play sport. We'll be doing it again, and I think the main plan is to start at the beginning of the season when kids grow out of boots and their parents find they've got to go to the sports shop and buy another pair. So let's have those old boots, please. There'll be a bin at the front door, all labelled up. The bin might be there earlier, so if you have got some old boots now, have a look. If the bin's there, lob them in. And that was really quite successful last time. I can't remember how many. It was hundreds of pairs of boots.
There was boots everywhere. I mean, there were like wheelie bins.
We did multiple wheelie bins.
Yeah, we
wasn't
did.
there?
Multiple
big wheelie bins of boots.
Yeah.
Unreal. Great.
So, yeah, that's coming again.
It's not just boots, though, is it? It's trainers as well. Trainers,
boots.
Anything, any sports shoes.
Yeah.
Tie them together.
Unwanted
or
children.
tape them together.
Tie them together.
Otherwise, they get separated in the trunk.
Fair play.
So,
Fair play.
yeah. Brilliant.
Cool.
Well, there we go, guys. The penultimate pod of the season, 1 hour on the nose.
Yeah, we'll do one in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But it's getting towards that time, isn't it?
Yep.
Fantastic. Well, guys, thanks very much. Pete, thanks for coming in.
No, pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Good luck to all the boys. I mean, what a season.
Yeah. I'll see everyone at the Stoop on Tuesday.
Yeah. Pete, Ali, thanks, boys.
Pleasure.
And to everyone listening, have a cracker. Cheers.